So Bob's going to use a cutting tube here. We're going to place that on first, real important. As I was just joking with Bob, it's his best friend in the room besides me here. This is important because I have to cut off the cast later, so we don't even come close to cutting Bob. We cut down the cast. So before this sets up, I use water to start this process. We're using a 5-inch fiberglass, and we're going to start wrapping Bob up here. This is one of the ways currently that is used to make a cast for someone that can stand. So I'm going to start here down at the bottom, and we'll work our way up. Okay, we'll start working our way up. Just gonna reach around you here, Bob. Okay, so a custom LSO needs to come 10 millimeters distal to the xiphoid and 10 millimeters posteriorly to a height that's 10 millimeters distal to the most inferior angle of the scapula. So we're there right now. And so what I need to do now, as we talked about earlier, is I'm going to use our fingers. We're going to show where the waist grooves need to go. And I'll kind of explain that now in more detail. So if you want to come on down, we'll show you this. And we're going to just define those iliac crests. So the point of this is, above my fingers is his bottom rib, his most distal rib. Below my fingers is the top of his hip bone, his iliac crest. And so the whole point of that is if we put a soft waist groove in this brace right where my fingers are, then if the brace ever started to, quote, migrate superiorly or inferiorly, if it's on correctly and in a snug fashion, it'll be a lot less likely to fall past his iliac crest down, and it would be a lot less likely to go up too far because it would hit the bottom rib with the soft padding material it would. So that's the whole point of that. That way, when we do this, the person can come back later on, have a great landmarker to know, okay, if I do my waist groove in the right spot, I know everything else will start to fall into place. So that's what we're doing here. Okay, so we're just going to finish off the cast. A little bit different process. So I'm just going to start here. Get our base. Now chin high for me, Bob. Great. So we have to go higher now underneath his arms. So I use paper towels actually to help protect Bob's skin. And okay, chin high for me, chin high. Okay, so this is the general process for a TLSO. If you can imagine, the back would be about the same height as this. And we just want to make sure this gets rubbed in here pretty good. In a second, we'll just take this off. A lot of people will get a compression fracture at the junction between their lumbar and their thoracic spine in that general area. So we have a lever arm here. We try to straighten Bob out as much as he can comfortably get to, because he's got to be comfortable wearing the brace, but we also want him in extension with the brace. So in the casting process, I'll try to help hold him in extension, and we can add some padding later too to help give a little bit of an extra push. But the compression fracture is caused by axial load and compression to the two vertebrae, and so we want to help promote a good posture. So that would be a reason why we're going up this high, for example. Another reason why you do a high profile TLSO is because you want to stop rotation. If somebody has a burst fracture, for example, it's as we know, that's still a spinal fracture, but it's more involved. So what I'm going to do is show you with my hands what a TLSO will do and the reasons why someone might choose a TLSO for a burst fracture, even if the burst fracture is lower down here. You want to stop rotation. So plastic on the TLSO will be here and also at the ASIS. So it would stop the person from twisting like this. Likewise, there'll be plastic on the other side that would help to stop the person from twisting. So twisting and bending, two very important motions to stop. We also want to stop extension for certain diagnoses, and that's usually into the lower part of the lumbar spine. Custom brace, the typical process is that someone is seen day one, for example, and the way it currently is in the field is they usually get the brace the very next day. That's the norm. Some places can do it a little bit faster than that, but that's the process. So we're going to be the custom braces such as this, like a custom TLSO or an LSO, that's a two-part visit. And so we'll talk more about the fitting process in the next part of our video when we have the brace back. Okay, so for Bob on this one, so we're going to cut off the top layer. 2 layers is what we used. We want to preserve modesty, right? So we cut off the top layer, take the cast off, and we'll show you in later videos how we pour this, how it becomes a solid mold, different approaches to that. And Bob will tell you how much he's loving his brace.